Now I'd like to introduce our keynote speaker, Lieutenant Colonel, retired, Jim Parsons.
Ten, 15 years ago, we were burying our World War II veterans at a very high rate, and they were our greatest generation. And today, let's give one more hand to these four who happen to be with us today, and we honor them so. Thank you, gentlemen. Back 10, 15 years ago, I was the Honor Guard commander for the VFW, and it wasn't unusual for us back then to have 2 and 3 funerals a day. And my job was to, and it was a big one, was to schedule 7 riflemen to fire 3 volleys to make the 21-gun salute. Then I had to schedule someone to hand the flag, present that to the widow, and then have someone play taps at the end. We tried to be as professional as we could, and once a month while we met, and whatever glitches we might have had or anything that we thought we could improve on, we wanted to be our best because we knew we were working on hallowed ground and how important it was to the families. But things can't always be perfect. We sent a crew one time across the Missouri line in a small cemetery, and when the rifle squad got there, they realized that the way the terrain was, they just couldn't distance themselves like they would like to, and they were a little bit too close. And sitting on the front row was the patriarch of the group, and she was had her hearing aids up high so that she could hear the pastor. Sitting in a folding chair, just right off the beginning, the first volley went off, boom. And when it did, she bolted backwards, chair collapsed, she hit the ground. And the grandson jumped up and said, "Oh my gosh, they shot Grandma." And so sometimes they don't go perfectly. One day we were down at National Cemetery, and we were so far away from the preacher that we couldn't really hear him. We couldn't talk to each other because that would be inappropriate. So you just have to stand there at parade rest and try to keep the circulation going so you don't pass out. And up north of town, your mind just kind of goes off into la-la land. And I thought I could hear that traditional sound of clickety-clack, 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 just lightly. And I knew that, well, there'll be a train arriving pretty soon. And then my mind went to the man that was in the casket. And I thought there was a time for his arrival, too. And in the delivery room, the doctor at his side and holding the stethoscope to the belly, and inside the womb was this child, and the doctor could hear just a slight thud-up, thud-up, thud-up. This baby boy is going to be arriving soon. And when he did, everybody in the delivering room and everybody in the hospital knew it because it was, wham, where's my bottle? Wham, I need my diaper changed. Where are you people? I need somebody here to help me. I'm dependent on you. It's your job. Get here. And so the train, too, coming across the Fayetteville city line, now it was loud, clickety-clack, clickety-clack. It was no doubt a train was arriving. And as it passed the mall north of town and coming into town center, really getting noisy now, and with clickety-clack coming into the city limits, the people had to have the guard arms come down at the railroad crossing and the light blinking on the end and the bell going ding, ding, ding. Everything had to stop for the train. And the train was in control of Fayetteville. And everybody knew it. At the same time, this baby boy, he'd grown up and he's now in high school, And he too is still rather selfish the way he was in the delivery room, wanting things done for him. And we give it to him. In fact, we know that he will soon be carrying the load just like the train. And therefore, we need to give him whatever he needs, because he is going to be carrying that heavy load for all of us. And so whatever he wants, why, we give it to him, including the car keys, because he needs to get to the football field. His football coach is expecting him, and he's got an assignment for him, and he's got him something he needs to do. So the boy, when he gets onto the field, why, he is at a place to where it's one of the best training grounds for a young man to become a man, because there he's going to learn teamwork. He's going to learn loyalty to his team. He's got to play by the rules, and so many things. And one of the things, after 89 years for me, I find one of the greatest lessons on the football field is the fact that when you get out on the field, you're going to get your uniform dirty. And that's a rule. If you want to stay clean and keep your clothes clean, sit up in the stands. There, nobody will hit you, and you can stay clean and just be an observer. But if you're out on the field, why, as I said, they're going to be knocking you down, and you're going to have your face in the dirt, and you need to get back up. One of those lessons that you need to learn. And so probably the reason your face is in the dirt is because the other team has sent scouts, and they have told their team today, knock number 14 down, because it's important. If we're going to win, you got to put him in the dirt. And so that is some of the things that football teaches you. Get up and play again. If you leave the field, they win. And you must stay out there and keep playing. The young man now, coming out of college, he's out of high school and into college. Beautiful autumn afternoon. Stands are packed. It's homecoming. And in the stands, his mother and father and the girl he's going to marry. So this day, he has to be his very best. And so, thump, 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 because he's got to do so well. The train now has come out of town center and is headed toward the cemetery. And as it passes Razorback Stadium, the University of Arkansas campus, Baum Stadium, you know that it's approaching the cemetery, because with the heavy boxcars and the steel engine, the ground begins to shake and tremor, and you know the train is coming and it's picking up speed. And as it gets right next to the cemetery, the clickety-clack, clickety-clack, clickety-clack is so loud that the preacher has to stop his eulogy, and he can't speak anymore, because the train is in control of the cemetery, and the train is in command. And the man, now out of college and in his 50s and 60s, and time rolls on, with all of his experience and all of his training and everything, he's at the pinnacle of his life. And he's like the train coming through the cemetery. He is in control, and he's in command. And so he's there at the microphone, and he's saying, "Company!" And you can hear 1,000 heels, and you can also hear the company commanders up and down the line, "Company, company, company," echoing his sound. "Battalion, attention, hut!" And you can hear the hands and the feet striking. Then he gives the command, "Present, horse!" And you can hear the hands strike the rifle stock, bolts rattle. Up on the hill, 21 cannons, 155 howitzers, all firing one at a time. Boom, boom, boom. All of this at the command of this 50 and 60-year-old man at the peak of his life. Finally, he is the place where he needed to be when he was born. And then it happens to all of us. every one of us, if we're lucky, we slide into and time passes and we get into our 80s and 90s. And in our 80s and 90s, we're shuffling around the house in our house shoes. We can't remember where our glasses are, and we spend a lot of time looking for them. We go off into a room and we say, what am I hereafter? And we realize we're living in the hereafter. And the train now, leaving the cemetery, is going away. And the train, as it nears the city limits south of Fayetteville, approaches the ridge, and off the ridge you can hear the echo of a very light clickety-clack, clickety-clack. And as the train goes out over the ridge and down the far slope, no sound. The train is gone. And the man, now in his bed, once again has the doctor at his side with his stethoscope, and he's listening to the heart of the man, and he's getting a very slight thud-up, thud-up, thud-up. The beats are too far apart now, and the chest falls, the breathing stops, the train is gone, and the man is gone. And so now the funeral is over, and the cars are all pulling out of the parking lot, and the last car goes out through the gate, and you're left all alone in the cemetery. It's quiet, it's silent, there's not a sound. And then you hear a voice, it's Jesus Christ. And Jesus is saying, in my Father's house are many mansions. If it were not so, I would have told you. And today I go there to prepare a place for you. Amen. If you will, please stand. We're going to have the rifle salute. And this is Dan Schlemp, the commander. And if you will, render the salute to this flag right here. And now, if you will, please be seated. This is going to be kind of an up and a down and up and down. We have a couple of ladies that want to make a special presentation, and they'll introduce themselves. And so, if you will, ma'am.
I'm Susan Richmond, and I'm a volunteer with Quilts of Valor. And we are a national organization that loves to sew and give back to our veterans by presenting quilts to them. And we belong to a group in Bella Vista called the Calico Cut-Ups Quilt Guild. And we make a lot of quilts for our veterans. And today I have 2 quilts for 2 special members of the council. If Ray Brust would come up here. And then the second one is for Jim Parsons. Yeah.
Oh, well, thank you. Oh, my goodness. Boy, that's beautiful.
I have certificates for each of you. The certificates say the Quilts of Valor Foundation wishes to recognize you for your service to our nation. We consider it our privilege to do so. Though we may never know the extent of your sacrifice to protect and defend the United States of America, We award you this Quilt of Valor as an expression of gratitude from a grateful nation. We do thank them so much for their service and all the veterans.
If you will, please just stay seated. We're going to do a taps that's not official, so I want to give you the words so you'll know that there are words to taps. And I think Betty is going to play the bugle, and so Betty will just go ahead. Stay seated. The day is done. Gone the sun. From the lakes, from the hills, and from the sky, all is well, safely rest. God is nigh. Now, if you will, please stand. She's going to play it in its normal cadence. We'll salute this flag right up here. Go ahead, Betty. That concludes today's ceremony. Thank you for making this a very successful Memorial Day 2022. Thank you. God bless you.